It feels so good to be back here, Dennis, once again for our first gym challenge of the 2026 season here at Psychocerta Place in Pico Bay, California. I am once again Jesus Corona as Dennis, guys. We are back, and we are definitely time traveling as we are be on our way back onto Regulation H.
This is the good one. And Fuecoco's here too.
Yeah, we got basically everybody here.
The important third member of the broadcast.
Yeah, and we got the important stream members on camera for our round number 1 matchup between Richard Salazar and Jaden Armstrong. And it's going to be... I mean, we're going to assume this is a quick matchup here between these two trainers. We got Richard on the Sneasler, Archaludon, King Gambit, Amoonguss, Pelipper, and Basque Legion male, while Jaden on the Indeedee male, Delphox, Sneasler, Talonflame, Cinccino, and Blood Moon Ursa Luna.
Yeah, we're back in Reg H, and obviously there are a lot of balance archetypes available, but both these teams are definitely more on the aggressive side. Both have that Sneasler as an option. Jaden has some of the side spam options, as well as that Cinccino, which, very interesting pick. Very excited to see what happens there. But you've got the Indeedee male plus the Delphox, which is the really aggressive version of that side spam, the faster version of the side spam. And then on Richard's side, you kind of have that the Rain Core with the Basque Legion, which is often very aggressive, as well as the Pelipper and the Archaludon. I'm excited to see how this goes.
Yeah, we have quicker loading speeds now, and Jaden's going to start off this tournament season with Talonflame and Sneasler as the lead, with Richard on the double steel types of Archaludon and King Gambit.
Yeah, that really did load way faster than I thought it would.
That's because we are using Switch 2s today.
Shout out Switch 2. Sneasler Talonflame's an interesting lead here. It's really fast. Obviously, you do have the Gale Wings, you have the Tailwind as an option, but either way, both these Pokemon are going to outspeed both of Richard's Pokemon. So it's definitely on Richard at this point to try to figure out a way a little bit out of this opening turn.
King Gambit switching out in place of that. Still loading are actually catching me off guard. It's way too fast to bringing that Pelipper in for a potential close combat onto the Pelipper slot, because you got to be wary of what this Sneasler wants to do here. It's just going to protect this turn 1, so it's going to come down to what this Talonflame does here. It might just be a safe Tailwind, as you said. No, it's going to be a little instead of trying to catch the King Gambit, but instead just catches a little Pelican.
Yeah, now I'm a little worried about this Talonflame getting lit up by Electroshock.
Yeah, it's just Electroshock coming out here. Lit up by... I mean, talk about lit up by Electroshock. Do you think lightning strikes hurt Talonflames much in the wild?
Probably not as much as that Electroshock just started.
Yeah, unfortunately there, Talonflame goes down in one hit through that Electroshock. Definitely did try to catch King Gambit staying in. However, I mean, yeah, you do break the potential such it has, but if you see on the camera, it is not the case.
Yeah, and great first turn for Richard in general. Does mean that Jaden gets to bring in the Indeedee now, which will also activate that Psychic Seed and the Presumptive Unburden for Sneasler.
Yeah, it also increases the special defense stat, so it's effectively neutral against this Archaludon, but it still needs to be, but the Sneasler from Jaden needs to be wary of a potential Hurricane from Pelipper, because, well, Hurricane currently is perfect accuracy in rain, and it's something that Sneasler, I don't even know if Sneasler can take a +1 Hurricane, and then if you're Indeedee on Jaden, you got Expanding Force, yes, but you gotta deal with potentially a big, bulky beast in Archaludon, which is gonna be terrestrializing here. Various options here. Grass is Richard's option.
Yeah, and the Terra Grass isn't a bad idea here, although obviously the Dire Claw could read that out.
Or to protect heavy readout from this Indeedee, because again, Expanding Force, Pelipper does not have a great special defense stat, and here's a close combat into this Archaludon, does over half damage, it's really good.
Yeah. If it's the double up or even just an Expanding Force here, it might pick up the KO onto the Archaludon.
First stamina boost of the day for Archaludon. It's going to be an Expanding Force. Pelipper was wise to protect, but can Archaludon take this hit? It's going to go out in the Psychic Terrain boost. Just not enough to knock out the Archaludon. It's going to go to +2 defense now. Its next move is another Electroshock, so it's going to go to +2 special attack. And because the close combat lowered the special defense of Sneasler to neutral, it's going to go down potentially to this Electroshock if it goes that way, and it is targeting the Sneasler. I was
going to say, I think basically any of these Electroshots would have taken out the Sneasler. Really good for Richard there, although that was obviously on very little HP that the Archaludon was able to take that. But a good Terra, and I mean, if you're Jaden, you were thinking, it's probably going to pick up that KO, but just not enough.
And the last Pokemon from Jaden is that Delphox, the Unrivaled. And not in a good position to go for Heat Wave, but expanding Force Spam is definitely the game plan now for Jaden. He has the speed advantage, yes. The problem is just, what does Richard have in the back? Because obviously there's a King Gambit in the back that does appreciate taking psychic moves because, well, you're a dark type, you're immune to them. And then with the Heat Wave up, you're not really worried about the Heat Waves coming out from this Delphox.
Yeah, now it ends up being a little bit of a mind game for a couple of these Pokemon here. I really don't know what either of them wants to go for here. Because, yeah, just a double expanding force. I mean, again, the big issue for Richard's team is that all these Pokemon are pretty slow, all things considered. The Arch isn't particularly fast, and yeah, that Pelipper's not fast.
The Dazzling Gleam isn't enough to knock out the Archaludon. Terra's down. And interesting to see a Dazzling in Delphox. You know, that's an option you don't really see that often from Delphoxes. And pretty good coverage move into some Dragon types. And this does take some Life Orb chip to reveal. Expanding Force does come out. It's single target now. It's heavily boosted by the second frame. Pelipper goes down. There's a double KO from Jaden. But I think Richard might be in a better spot depending on who he accompanies this King Gambit with.
Yeah,
it's Basculegion.
Yeah, I think it'll mostly come down to reads at this point. It'll just come down to who wants to protect and who on Jaden's side can go for that Terra, I think. It'll be the big thing, because I think both these Pokemon are likely to have pretty good Terras here for taking at least one hit. Can you take a Basculegion hit plus a King Gambit Sucker Punch? That's a question.
Now, to answer that question indirectly, the Psychic Terrain's still up, so you can't really Sucker Punch right now. And second of all, Richard did use his Terrestrialization on our Archaludon, so he can't tear out any of his Pokemon, but Jaden still has his on the Needy and or Delphox. But it also depends on how many turns of Rain / Psychic Terrain are left, and Jaden is going to proc the Terrestrialization. It's going to be the Indeedee, and its Terrestrialization is fighting, definitely eyeing the King Gambit.
Yeah, I like that choice. I think that you have a way to win this with just this Indeedee.
Delphox protects to make sure Wave Crash or Last Respect doesn't KO it on the spot. It's going to be that Wave Crash. It targets the Indeedee, trying to see what item this thing is holding. It's holding a Focus Sash.
Yeah, and I think this was the clean play for Jaden, was getting all of this done. You do a bit of damage back to the Basculegion, a lot actually.
It's going to be the Terra Blast. It won't hit the Basculegion because it's a Ghost type, but it will hit this King Gambit 4 times. Super effective damage. The Mirage Punches. It's a one-hit KO.
Absolutely, and now I think Jaden should have this. I think both of these Pokemon have one-hit KOs.
Rain's still up though for well, it looks to be maybe a one more turn. We didn't really get to see that because of the cover-up, but Basculegion definitely still has to route back in this game because who knows how much Expanding Force is doing with 2 turns out the Psychic Terrain. And
I think Expanding Force pretty easily picks up KO here.
Well, it won't be from Delphox.
Yeah, certainly won't be from Delphox, especially after the crit, but...
Okay, it's around half HP.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that it takes that Life Orb chip, and now it takes the Expanding Force. I don't think it
gets KO. Jaden Armstrong on debut wins game 1 of round 1.
On 1 HP remaining. Definitely a close one there.
Close one to call there, and I think if you're Richard, you like how that battle turned out. It's just, that ending really just showed that Jaden just had the speed advantage.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is that even without the Talonflame clicking Tailwind at all of these Pokemon are pretty fast. The Indeedee's fast, the Delphox is fast, Sneasler's obviously very fast. Richard, I think, wants to play around the speed a little bit more. Maybe get the Sneasler involved, maybe get the Tailwind up with Pelipper, maybe get Basculegion involved a little bit earlier. Because, I mean, we saw the King Gambit is nice with all of the Psychic types, but it really didn't do much.
Yeah, I mean, it switched out in Fear of a Will-O-Wisp, which he got the call correct, but then he used his Terrestrialization on our Archaludon, which also was an understandable play, although it wasn't really like he got it wrong. He was just like the positioning got bad towards the end.
Yeah, that's basically it, and I think that's the big concern here is if Richard can find better later game positioning, and I do think that King Gambit wasn't necessarily providing a whole lot. I would like to see a bit more of like a Basculegion. I mean, it's the Evolve form, but a Basculegion-centered mode that tries to get hits down earlier on in the battle, because like none of these Pokemon take Wave Crash particularly well. I don't think there's anything that eats
nothing should. I mean, we did see the Indeedee have to Focus Sash. That's the only thing that can take a Wave Crash and Rain.
Pretty much, yeah. And so, and obviously nothing will outspeed the Basculegion with
provided there's not a Talonflame.
Yeah, I guess the Talonflame can get like a Gale Wings Tailwind up, but...
Or the Sneasler with Unburden.
Or the Sneasler with Unburden. Yeah, there are certainly options, I guess. But even still, like, the Bascu Legion is going to be really fast at the start of these battles, and...
Speed is the name of the game, and back in Regulation H, speed was an important part of some of these battles, although towards the end of the first Regulation H, I think we got towards like a bulkier sense of the metagame, even though there were some speed aspects.
And I mean, both these teams certainly have ways to play a little bit more bulky. Well, Richard's team definitely has ways to play a bit more bulky. Jaden's doesn't really, and is just kind of forcing the issue, which is, I think, where this comes from.
Yeah, and speaking of issues, we got issues here. We got different leads from both players. I mean, the Talonflame does stick around for Jaden, but it's with the Indeedee this time around, and Bascu Legion Sneasler is the lead from Richard, so immediately a Tailwind pressure from this Talonflame, alongside Expanding Force pressure into both the Sneasler and maybe the Bascu Legion if it's not careful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do... Yeah, this play makes sense from Richard, having the Sneasler and the Bascu Legion here for pressure, and then bringing out the Pelipper to try to actually start hitting with the Bascu Legion. We'll see how Jaden wants to respond to that as an option.
Tailwind comes out from Talonflame, so it will be 4 turns of increased speed, which will be grateful into this range, which allows it to be faster than this Bascu Legion with its Expanding Force. Both Pokemon take it. Despite a critical hit on the Bascu Legion, it does go for a Wave Crash. I think it's going to knock itself out, but it takes Talonflame with it.
Yeah, it gets the KO on Talonflame, but that crit does matter quite a bit, especially because the Talonflame doesn't really need to be out here anymore. It got the Tailwind off. It did what it needed to, and yeah, Bascu Legion's definitely out of there. It is noteworthy, if the set continues after this game, it is noteworthy that Indeedee does outspeed the Bascu Legion, even with both of them having the doubled speed, because that's not necessarily a guarantee, depending on how they're trained.
And Sneasler comes up from Jaden. Yo, let's talk about speed. We got the Talonflame with the Tailwind. How about we go even faster with this Unburdened Sneasler?
Yeah, and now things are getting a little awkward for Richard. I don't really know what you do here, because I don't think that there's anything to be done about just like that same play as the previous game, the close combat into the Archaludon and a Expanding Force. Like, what do you do about that right now?
Yeah, it might come down to a Terra read, because, neither player is Terra. And yeah, there you go. He's trying to read into the Terra Grass.
He did call it.
I was about to say, you probably are going to be worried about the Terra Grass if anything, because this Expanding Force with the Assault isn't doing a lot of damage to Archaludon. Knocks out Pelipper, gets Archaludon on the defense boost, which means close combat might not be in range if it stays around. And yeah, I understand why Jaden went for that read, because Richard did it the last game. He could just do it again, and here's an Electro Shot for Jaden's troubles.
Yeah, and that might put Richard a little bit back in this game. It's still not a good spot for Richard to be in, but he should pick up the Sneasler. Oh wow, that actually did not.
The special defense boost is still up.
Yeah, because of the Psychic Seed. I did not think it would help that much.
And there's the Sneasler again from Richard. His last 2 Pokemon are now on play, and Jaden still has to deal with a couple of these rain turns, and now, once again, the Terra read. Do you close combat, or do you Expanding Force? I mean, Expanding Force did a good chunk game 1 to a Terra Grass Archaludon.
I think it's door number 3, which is ignore Archaludon and focus down Sneasler.
There's a translation from Richard, it looks like. It's going to be Archaludon again going to Terra Grass. Now Jaden knows he isn't what Jaden would have loved to see last turn.
Yeah, that's for sure. And potentially could have gotten the status out of it and everything, but I think...
Another close combat.
Close combat.
I don't think that's range for Expanding Force thanks to that defense boost. Sneasler definitely on his last legs here.
Yeah.
On low HP and now with decreased defenses. As Archaludon gets another defense boost from Stamina. Expanding Force will hit both of these Pokemon. Sneasler's going to go down to a Focus Sash. And Archaludon once again hangs on to the exact same HP as was in game 1-1 at 18.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit worried for Jaden now. There's probably still enough Tailwind turns left, but... Ooh, this Dire Claw? Okay, Dire Claw didn't pick up the poison. That's the big thing. The sleep would have also been pretty bad. I guess all the statuses would have been bad. But
now to see where this Electric Shot lands. It's now a +2 Archaludon. It doubles the Indeedee!
That's interesting. I don't think it matters, assuming the Delphox is in the back. I think Jaden has this. And honestly, the Sneasler still being around is pretty good for Jaden, because with the Tailwind up, your Sneasler will still outspeed Richard's Sneasler.
Delphox on the field. Jaden now down to his last 2 Pokemon. This Delphox doesn't have much bulk on it, and it's got to deal with this +2 Archaludon. And potentially, if the Sneasler's unburdened for Richard. Potentially.
So, yeah. And the big thing here is the Protect on the Sneasler. Because if it is unburdened, which it probably is with Focus Sash set, It's...
Oh, it's last turn of Tailwind!
It is the last turn of Tailwind. The thing
he
is,
forfeits! Jaden Armstrong's gonna win round number 1 with a 2-0 victory over Richard Salazar!
Yeah, and his friend Malamar. I do think that was how that was going to end up going, because I think regardless, there would have been a KO onto the Archaladon that turn. Could have stalled out a little bit on the Sneasler. I think that Jaden had that game won regardless.
Yeah, we talked about a fast set. We definitely 100% got a fast game.
Yeah, those players are moving pretty quick. Not every game will move like that in this, but Jaden's team definitely forces the issue, and he did a great job playing around it.
Yeah, congratulations once again, Jaden Armstrong winning on his debut. This is actually his first tournament ever at Cycloturtle Plays, and he starts off his journey in SoCal with a 1-0 start. We'll be right back for round number 2. We'll got our new opponents, and we'll be back with another new set, maybe another joke.